Our reading this morning is from the 6th chapter of the Gospel of Luke, verses 27 through 38. Jesus said, I say to you that listen, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who abuse you. If anyone strikes you on the cheek, offer the other also. And from anyone who takes away your coat, do not withhold even your shirt. Give to everyone who begs from you. And if anyone takes away your goods, do not ask for them again. Do to others as you would have them do to you. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. If you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. If you lend to those from whom you hope to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners to receive as much again. But love your enemies, do good, and lend, expecting nothing in return. Your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, for he is kind to the ungrateful and the wicked. Be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap, for the measure you give will be the measure you get back. The word of the Lord. In spite of the fact that I'm talking to you on Facebook or YouTube, I'm not a very big presence on social media. I have a Twitter account that I basically haven't looked at since I created it. I do check Facebook most days, largely to see if there are any new granddaughter pictures and to wish people a happy birthday. Each week I write a reflection and record it for broadcast, and that's about the extent of my social media presence. There are several reasons I'm not fond of Facebook, including its ads and its algorithms for deciding who and what I see. But what rankles me most are the arguments that people get into over posts. Friendships have ended because of them, and I know of at least one person who left the parish over a Facebook exchange. Clearly no one is thinking of what we just heard from the Gospel of Luke. Jesus says, for the measure you give will be the measure you get back, and do to others as you would have them do to you. That last we call the Golden Rule, a way of treating others that's often cited as a teaching common to all religions, as though every religion is the same, which, by the way, I don't happen to believe. When we hear Jesus say it, we get right on board. Unfortunately, we also tend to ignore what else he says. He began with, love your enemies, and do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Why is it that many Christians rarely do these things? Instead, enemies are vilified. We judge and condemn others in spite of Jesus' injunction not to do so. Throughout our culture, I see much more anger and hate than forgiveness. This morning at church, we'll hear the end of the Old Testament story of Joseph, and it neatly illustrates what Jesus was talking about. When the powerful Joseph finally revealed himself to his brothers, they were greatly dismayed at his presence. They had hatefully sold him into slavery many years ago and probably thought he was dead. Yet here he was, standing in front of them, second only to Pharaoh in Egypt. They had begged him for food in the midst of a famine. They had wronged him terribly, and now he had absolute power over them, and they knew it. Yet Joseph did not deal with them as they deserved, but rather as Jesus might have done. Joseph's rationale for all that had happened was that God could now preserve his brothers and their families, as well as many others who might have perished from the famine. Joseph was kind to the grateful and wicked, as Jesus might say, a child of the Most High. I really wonder how many of us would be like Joseph. Loving our enemies is hard work. Doing good and expecting nothing in return is hard work. It's the work of God who is kind to the ungrateful and the wicked, and maybe that's the point. It's not our natural inclination, and we need an awful lot of God's grace in order to be able to do it. I've heard that some people prefer Instagram to Facebook because it doesn't provide the opportunity for rants. That sounds good, but I haven't signed up yet. I'd rather read books than spend more time on social media anyway. Besides, what I really need to work on is my own behavior. Fortunately, Lent is just around the corner, that time when we can take stock and rededicate ourselves to the spiritual disciplines that allow us to lead a more Christ-like life. Think about what you might want to do during this Lent, what you might want to do that will make you live more like Christ. Remember what Jesus said, "The measure you give will be the measure you get back." Amen.